talking about the true Jumanji.
Huh, so you have seen it. You've seen every Jumanji, and yet you're still trying to Jumanji me.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is...
Morning somewhere!
For September 5th, 2024. My name is Bernie Burns. While I said September 5th is something, the Bobaverse book is coming out today, but there's something else. When is that Dead Rising remaster that I'm
That's this
looking
month.
forward to?
That's this month, but it's later this month.
Yeah, what is all this here?
You mean State of Decay 2?
Listen, you want to just acknowledge that you're not aware of the things that I'm into, that's fine, if you want to do that. September 19th, I'm looking forward to the Dead Rising remaster. I feel like I've played the remaster of Dead Rising a few times now, but it's a good game. Hi, Ash. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
It's Thursday, Ashley. I'm doing fine. I'm doing good. I don't feel like I'm going to be writing any mean blog posts and then deleting them immediately today. I think I'm going to be... I'm just going to have an average, normal day. Before we get into that, can I talk about something that happened earlier this week?
Yeah.
That I find this is
happened?
like global political scale. So Vladimir Putin went to go visit Mongolia. And this is the first time he's gone to go visit a country that's a member of the International Criminal Court since they put out a warrant for his arrest.
Okay.
And all these other countries, like the United States and France, are saying to Mongolia, hey, why didn't you arrest him? Mongolia must be like because
fuck you guys.
Because fuck you, that's why. I mean, I get that they might not have had him come visit the country, but Mongolia sits like wedged right between Russia and China. And they really want him, that like Mongolians are going to arrest Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, that would go great for them.
I mean,
right?
I get it, but you also have to get it. You know, you
Yes.
have to understand why they're not going to do that.
Like, why were your ICC police not on hand? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Are there ICC police?
I think once you get above anything that's like a federal court, unless there's a war, it's just what are the powers that it has, you know?
Right. It has whatever powers you sort of agree it has.
Yeah, I think I read one time when I think America invaded Iraq, I want to say it was, there was an astronomical amount of what they call bullet wars where bullets were fired, and only one had gone before the UN for approval, and that was the U.S. invasion of Iraq. Like, every other country was like, we're not getting approval for this shit, you know?
We didn't submit our war paperwork.
Right. Fuck, we let our license expire on invading other countries.
Did you get this stamped?
You didn't fill out the right form.
You forgot the cover sheet. So we're just gonna kick this back to you. You go ahead, you fill out the right forms and get that submitted to us. But it's gonna have to wait for the next round because I'm afraid that the deadline for this round of wars is closed.
You're like the hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. Bureaucracy is just like, do you ever want to look at someone in one of those scenarios and go, do you hate yourself? Because you must, it's like, this is one conversation that I'm having with you telling me I've got the wrong form, or I'm in the wrong line, or I came on the wrong day at the wrong hour. Every conversation that they have must be like that. You know, it must be insane. And it's gotten worse. When I got a license to drive when I was 16, I showed up with my goddamn birth certificate, and that was it. Both my kids, Teddy and JD, in order to get licenses, we had to show up with like bank statements. Do 16-year-olds even have banks accounts?
I remember
cable
too,
bills?
There's like proof of address. Like they had to have like a utility bill in their name.
Right.
They're 16.
It was,
What 16 has utility? I mean, are they assuming like your cell phone bill?
yeah.
But because guess what? That's in your parents' name too.
Insane.
At 16.
And for young people who have gone through that process in the last 10 years, it was not always like that. It really was not. Now it's insane what they make you go through in order to get a driver's license. It's like 8 different documents. What 17-year-old even has those 8 documents? It's crazy.
I remember this was very unfair in my favor. When I got my driver's license, I did like a 2-week sort of like crash course driver's ed, did my drive time on my 16th birthday, went down to the DMV, did my driving test, got my provisional license, and that's it. I had a driver's license. My sister, she's 3 years younger, 2 or 3 years younger than me. I can never remember. I'm going to give her 3 because that makes her younger and she'll like that. She by the time she was getting her driver's license, she got a provisional license, which then meant she couldn't drive with an adult. She couldn't drive after dark. Like they changed it between our licenses. So I got this scot-free like license with no restrictions on it. And she had like I want to say it was minimum 6 months that you like couldn't drive in the car without like a family adult. And then even longer, you couldn't drive after dark, something like that. The restrictions were crazy. And I was like, wow, sucks for you. But I was a teenager, so I was an asshole, and I probably lorded it over her.
Probably so. We had a provisional license in Texas when I was a kid. Like, we could get one when we were 15 years old.
Not in Utah, baby. We're not communists.
Think about. We had some guests here from Utah just recently. One of them gave us I don't even know what quantity of Girl Scout cookies they brought for us. It was incredible.
Backed up a dump truck.
It was.
And just spilled out boxes of Thin Mints because someone told them about Thin Mints and that I have a problem with Thin Mints. And no joke, they packed an entire checked bag suitcase full of Thin Mints and presented it to me as a hilarious joke. And guess what? They're delicious.
Listen, they're delicious. And you could build like an entire Minecraft house out of these blocks that we've got.
Which is appropriate because we'll talk about that in a second. But it's nice because, Bernie, I now have so many that I can actually share them. So if you need to know, Bernie, how many spare boxes of Thin Mints I need in order to feel comfortable sharing them freely, now you know. It's an entire suitcase full.
Apparently, an entire dump truck full of Girl Scout cookies. So can I have any of these? Or
yes,
they have
you can have
how much emotional support does one need?
You get one box.
Yeah, so we were having a conversation at breakfast with some of our Utah guests. And one of the things that came up was there is currently, you might be able to look it up, a deadline in the UK for surrendering now large blades. Like if we have any machetes or anything like that, we are now supposed to surrender them to the government. I think that's kind of an interesting thing because not typically the kind of thing you have in the US. And everyone at the table reacted very negatively to that. Like, how can you do that?
They're like, that's your rights. So this is from gov.uk, a nationwide call to surrender all zombie-style knives and machetes. A nationwide call to hand over zombie-style knives, machetes has been launched by the government before these dangerous weapons are banned from our streets. From the 24th of September, it will be illegal to own, and I shit you not, Bernie, it says zombie-style knives and machetes. They will be added to the list of dangerous prohibited items already banned, including zombie knives, butterfly knives, samurai swords, and push daggers. So apparently zombie style knives and machetes is a classification based entirely off a genre of movie and video game that Bernie is very, very fond of. So yeah, they're now asking everyone to turn them in and they'll no longer be available for sale in the UK.
We don't have any zombie style things like that. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that it was something you and I were not worried about, but everyone was like, thought it was like the worst thing of all time, you know? In the UK, I'm actually going to end up with more guns here than I have in Texas. And that strikes people as strange. It's just the process is more involved. You have to go through an interview with the police.
References,
you have to get references.
Psych evaluations.
Kind of a light one, but yeah, a home visit as well. I like that kind of stuff. If you're going to have a firearm around, I'll never be able to buy a handgun, but I didn't own a handgun in the U.S. either.
No, I do think that it seems responsible if you're going to have a machine that's single purpose is to kill someone or something, that the process to get it is at least as difficult as getting your driver's license.
At least as difficult as that.
Well, you mentioned, Bernie, earlier, building, using all the cookies to make a Minecraft house.
Yes.
Now, that is relevant because a teaser trailer for the Minecraft movie has now released, starring Jason Momoa, Jack Black. It's very weird. It's very much a teaser in that I've watched it and I still can't really tell you what this movie is about. It gives us little hints. Like, it seems like it's like a Portal movie. Right? Like these people have somehow fallen through a portal from the real world into the Minecraft world.
Right.
Right. So I get a little bit of that vibe from it. The response to this teaser online so far has been, in my opinion, very much in line with the teaser for the original teaser for the Mario movie, which, interestingly enough, also a Portal movie, just the Earth in that world was also animated.
Right.
But
the real world Mario Brothers were from a real world that was animated.
Yes. But then, they fell through a portal essentially into the the Mushroom Kingdom.
And it worked.
And it worked. But the response seems to be very much that like this looks dumb. This looks. I don't see a lot of criticism about the sort of the choice of direction for graphics so much.
Oh, I get that a lot. See, because
Did
I was going to equate this more to the Sonic trailer when it first came out.
Oh, interesting.
And people were just like, "That's not the Sonic that I know." And it famously went through a change and is now on its third movie is about to come out. It's been wildly well received.
The Shadow movie's coming out.
Yeah.
With Keanu Reeves as
This
Shadow,
is like from what I know, this is the only movies that Jim Carrey works on anymore, are the Sonic movies.
Look, I mean, if you can be Eggman and that's all you got to do it.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Eggman.
But I mean, I guess for me, the Sonic response was very much in line to just the treatment of the one specific character, right? Not the
Yes.
overall treatment of graphics in the movie. Whereas this feels very much like you're either going to be on board with the style they have chosen for this animated Minecraft world, or you're not.
To me, the whole thing just feels so much like Jumanji 2. Like the second Jumanji movie specifically. Also, maybe a mush of the two because Jack Black is playing like a Robin Williams style character who appears to have been brought into the game much farther in advance of the party that shows up later.
Yeah, that's my theory because he pops up and he's like, "I'm Steve," and
arguably that's the moment of the trailer. Like there's this big dramatic moment and he goes, "I'm Steve." I don't even know how many people know the main character in Minecraft is called Steve.
I mean, I knew it before I ever played Minecraft, but yeah, if you don't consume sort of like, Minecraft related media, you'd be forgiven for not knowing that the default skin guy that you see in your inventory has a name.
I asked Finn, I go, "Who's Steve?" He's like, I don't know who Steve is. And he loves Minecraft, Of course, our skin is like a custom skin that we've had on my account for years, which
so
looks
he's
like
never
me.
seen Steve.
Right. The only time you ever see the character, I guess you could go into third person, but you see the character in the inventory screen, and that's about it.
Yeah, mostly you just see blocky arms down at your sides, right?
Right. To me, it's the whole, you get the cube stuff right, you get the building stuff right, and that's it. But if you're going to do the big, like they seem to be focusing on the piglins more so. To me, the iconic thing of Minecraft is the creeper. That's the iconic thing in Minecraft.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're looking at this in terms of like the overall story, the piglins that they are focusing on are very much like Bowser's little henchmen, right? Like the Bowser army in the Mario movie. Like if I'm drawing equivalencies, that's sort of like what they're using to be this sort of like evil army equivalent that they're going to have to overcome in this particular movie. They do show a creeper, but really all creepers do is come close to something, hiss, and blow up. Their story use is a little limited.
You say that with respect. That's all they do. Do you know how hard that is to pull that off? Some of my most iconic moments in gaming were a creeper sneaking up on me and ruining my week by destroying me. Getting rid of my diamond gear because it fell into a lava
Blowing
pit.
you up into lava, yeah.
Yeah, so this seems to me, Finn and I think, might have been some of the only people on the planet to play the third Minecraft game. There was Minecraft Dungeons. I'm sure there's other variants in there. Then there was the Minecraft Legends. Did you ever play Minecraft Legends?
I did not.
So it's basically like an RTS game, kind of, where you're battling piglins, or specifically whatever the pigmen that come out of the nether. And you're battling them and taking down their bases and like taking over this map and everything. Feels a lot like that. Like the bigger story in Minecraft is that war battle that's going on. And I don't know of anybody who plays Minecraft Legends.
The Minecraft lore is getting deep.
Like, well, seriously, in Minecraft Legends, the soldiers that you have are like little like wood spirits and stuff. Like it introduces a lot of new stuff into Minecraft.
Weird, interesting.
Yeah.
But so we still don't know a lot about this movie. Like what they haven't showed how people get there, what they're going to do, what's the deal with the world, how to escape, like all this stuff. It's like I have theories. Even the idea that it is a Portal movie is still a theory. I need to know more about how Jason Momoa ended up dressed like a rock star with eyeliner on.
Yeah.
There are a lot of elements there. Why were those four people together? Because they don't seem like they know each other.
Do you remember about 10 years ago? It feels like it was longer, but I guess it was about 10 years ago. One of the guys from Rocket Jump, Brandon Latch, he made a Kickstarter for a Minecraft movie.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
It was called Birth of Man. And if you go look at it, it's incredible how well the aesthetic that he was putting out there for a Minecraft movie, a live action Minecraft movie, it's kind of incredible how well that holds up. That Kickstarter took off. They were getting close to like $1 million. And everyone just said, hey, does he have permission to make
that
a
got
Minecraft
shut
movie?
down, right? Because he didn't get permission. He didn't license it or anything. He just had decided he was making a Minecraft movie.
And I'm pretty sure it was Mojang that shut it down and not Microsoft. I don't think the acquisition had happened yet. But yeah, he just decided to make this movie and didn't ask for permission or anything like that. And so it ended up getting shut down. He's in game development now. He's kind of catching up with his CV while I was looking at this. But we'll link it in the linked up. But go check out the Minecraft movie, Birth of Man.
Yeah, I remember that was a very cool trailer.
Yeah.
Like the effects in it seemed like they'd be real swell.
It actually tells, within the trailer itself, it tells a really interesting story to me. And I want to know more about it, because I won't ruin it for you, but it's really short. You can go watch it. But it was canceled almost immediately, in the first day and a half.
Yeah, I was going to say within days. It was it was going gangbusters and then it was gone again. But the trailer remains.
Yeah, and it was kind of a weird move to do that because a lot of work went into it. Steps like 2 through 50 were done for that movie, and step 1 was kind of an important step. And maybe, it could have been one of those things like maybe like, oh, we'll get this thing and have it be popular, and then they can't say no. Turns out they could say no.
Yeah.
We all knew there was going to be a Minecraft something at some point, a cartoon or a movie or a TV show, something.
They've been working on trying to get a Minecraft movie going nearly as long as Minecraft has been a thing. Kind of like Halo. It took a really, really long time for a Halo adaptation to make it all the way through the various rounds of development hell it went through and actually get to the screen.
There was a lot of different people attached to Minecraft over the years. A lot of people.
Yeah, wasn't one of the guys from Always Sunny attached
Rob
to
McElhenney.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm going to go on a football team instead.
We when we were working on a project together, I was in his production offices and there was concept art up on the walls. I was like, oh, this is really interesting because everybody's a big Minecraft fan, but I thought it was really interesting because I was like, oh, this is the direction they're going and things like that. So it's been around for a while. It's interesting to me that this looks so similar in premise and tone and even the visual aesthetic of it reminds me so much of Jumanji 2, which we liked.
We did. I loved Jumanji 2.
But we're in the minority.
Are we really? Because I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought all the characters and sort of what they did with them ending up in the wrong character bodies was hilarious.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the way they played with the world. I thought it was really, really fun. And if they basically have that except Minecraft, I would be probably pretty happy.
Well, the bad news is that George R. R. Martin wrote a really nasty blog post about Minecraft and deleted it. So.
Yeah, so he wrote, House of the Dragon Season 2 has now concluded.
Concluded, that's a word.
Well, yes. The criticism of Season 2 was that it sort of lacked a finale, right? There were a lot of things that happened that were sort of building to something that still hasn't taken place at the end of the season. They saved the finale for Season 2, and it'll be coming in Season 3.
We have not seen it. I don't think you can spoil anything for us, so good luck, losers, if you try to. But from everything I've read about House of the Dragon Season 2, it just keeps building and building and building to nothing.
Right.
And it's very disappointing. It's why... What was all of that for,
This is what they would call a blue balls of a season.
Blue balls of a season. There you go.
And a little while ago, George R. R. Martin put out a tweet, I believe it was, saying that he was at some point going to talk about all of the problems that he had with Season 2.
Okay.
And so
it's interesting you bring that up first because I think that shows a strategy to me because he did tee up this blog post a while ago and then delivered on it.
This is a premeditated blog.
Like he's doing an expose on Mr. Beast or something. It's it's coming soon. Wait till I drop my new blog post.
And so then he put up this blog post detailing all of his basically complaints with the deviations that Season 2 has made from the Fire and Blood book that he wrote. And then he almost immediately deleted the post again. This is, of course, the internet, so the post remains. It's all over the place. You will find it if you're looking for it.
Is it just one book, Fire and Blood?
Yeah, it's one book.
So it's done, it's complete, full story.
Yeah, I think
executed.
It's done in sort of separate parts, and it's not written as a novel. It's written history as told by this guy.
Is it a complete story, though?
Yes.
Okay.
So it does have its ending. And so that's, I think, one of the things that's given people confidence to be excited about House of the Dragon.
Yes.
After Game of Thrones is hey, guys, at least this one is finished.
This is a much more typical problem with successful TV shows based on adapted works. Meaning, You think about like The Hobbit is a good example as well. It's like we have enough for one movie, but you know it'd be a lot better than one movie. Three movies. Same thing with TV shows. It's like, let's get 3 seasons out of this. Nobody wants to make a 1-season show, right? So this is a more typical problem where they try to stretch stuff over a long period of time. As opposed to Game of Thrones, there were supposed to be 7 books. They had 7 seasons-ish. Like season 7 and 8 were half seasons.
They were like shortened seasons each.
The problem was they outpaced the material and there was nothing left to do. So they just kind of had to fill in the blanks themselves. I still feel to this day, there's no way that George R.R. Martin didn't tell them the way that he wanted the books to end.
Yes, and the way that it came together was well.
Is it fair to say people were not upset with Game of Thrones for the minor details? They were upset about the broad strokes with the way that finished.
Yes, there were some things where I think it was more the execution. Like I'm just gonna say, like Daenerys's like final plot line. You could see where a lot of that would be coming from, but it felt like it needed more development, more fleshing out. It felt unearned in the way that it was executed, but the plot line itself was not out of left field, right? The overall winner of the Game of the Thrones, that one felt very out of left field.
But those all had to be broad strokes, though, of like, this is where this character ends up. This is where this character ends up. Here's what happens with the Night King, right?
Right.
All these things that people were upset about, those had to be the big broad strokes. I'm confident saying, I think those were the things that he communicated to them. Right,
because they actually were like they're in there, and
right.
then it was like crayon drawing, sort of like how they actually got to that point. Whereas with House of the Dragon, it all exists. It's going to end. It has its direction. It has its finale. A lot of the complaints he had too were when it comes to an adaptation. I feel like there are some givens. You're going to lose some characters. You're going to lose some minor plot lines. You're going to lose like some. God, the number of characters in Game of Thrones that were combined or eliminated altogether or completely changed was huge. So I feel like George R.R. Martin shouldn't have been quite so surprised that this did happen with House of the Dragon as well. But one of his major complaints was about a character that, in the scheme of things, with the overall plot, fairly minor, but what happens to this character is still important. And he's upset that character was I think originally intended to be delayed to season 3 and now may not be appearing at all. And he's unhappy that this character is being omitted.
Yeah.
Just because of the impact that it has on the story and a couple of other minor changes in the scheme of things. But I don't think I've ever seen an adaptation that was page to screen perfect.
Sure.
They all have to make changes.
Right. There's some things they can pull off, some things that aren't going to be efficient on screen. Like, for instance, Game of Thrones. There's a character named Lady Stoneheart. Not in the show at all. And that's a very interesting character in the books.
Very interesting. I have no idea. I was like, how are they going to tackle this? And then they went, well, we're just not.
We're not going to touch it.
There were a lot of the wildlings that just got mishmashed all together into here's one wildling character that's all the every wildling you've ever met.
But, it's interesting to me too, because he's upset in this blog post. He's upset with the showrunner. And showrunner is a word that keeps getting used. It's been on the rise over the last 10 years with, the big boom in digital series. There is no official credit in Hollywood as showrunner. It's not a real title. It's an unofficial title. It's usually given to an executive producer, a producer, or a head writer, essentially. And it's the person's kind of like the architect of the season. They're the go-to person for all the creative decisions. Still other people, directors for individual episodes, get the episodes done, producers pull those off. I don't know why George R.R. Martin is not the showrunner if he's just pulling the creative strings, why he's not that at this point, and why is he making blog posts like it's like he's an influencer getting mad at an airline, online and complaining on Twitter about American Airlines not giving him a good seat. It's
to be fair, he's a little old school. I'm pretty sure he's still on LiveJournal.
Is he really?
Yeah, that's not a joke. I think he's on LiveJournal. That might be where his blog is.
And it's a lot of this because it's I know a lot of people, you didn't want to defend your work and everything, but there are a bunch of, you still have your book. It feels like he's throwing a whole team of artists under the bus. A lot of people who work on the show and execute the show, including the cast that's in the show as well. And you want to make the change, but the whole teeing it up and telling people I'm going to drop this big, T-bomb or whatever. I don't know. It's something about it just smacks of very immature to me, honestly.
Yeah, and it's also potentially slightly telling that he's he was all on board with season 1. There were some changes, like 2 characters
Go ahead.
in season 1 as well. And then this season has not been as well received because, once again, it is a blue balls of a season. And, when people are criticizing it, he's happy to join in that.
Yes, that you're articulating what I was thinking too. It's like once the criticism started from external sources, then suddenly he's like, yeah, this is this guy's problem or whatever. It's just, I just think with all the criticism that came down the pipe for Game of Thrones, I think he might have a little bit of a thin skin when it comes to criticism of the shows.
Yeah, so dude, watch out. You're going to get all kind of criticisms about your Minecraft movie.
Well, that's actually interesting because Notch, to bring this back around, Notch tweeted about the Minecraft movie. And let me read his tweet. He wrote on X, okay, I'm in. Wow, this is a weird feeling. And then he quoted the trailer. And he's replying to people in the comments, even like responding to people who were trying to bait him on the gender of the cast or let me see what this person wrote here. Someone wrote, their username, their last name is Musk. This is some serious woke bullshit. Can't tell at all who is what gender. And Notch replied, why don't you save that for when they're pushing it on existing lore? Who cares what the makeup is in a new story? And it's interesting. I like that approach much more. Obviously Minecraft is his baby. He's very much tied to the IP. Someone's making a movie based on it. It's kind of like, take it and run with it. And so let's see what they do with it and give this thing a chance. That's what I'm taking away from his tweets about this.
Well, and also that he understands that this is something that he stepped away from. He sold it very much like George Lucas stepped away from Star Wars. It is now going on its own adventure, and he is happy to see where it goes without him. Mm-hmm. And that's not always an easy thing for a creator, which I totally understand.
No, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's like, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? Am I going to yell at HBO? What's the card being played here? Is this going to help him get his ideas across? Is he hoping to get the showrunner fired? Is that the plan? It's
going to be a burst of inspiration to finish Winds of Winter.
Yeah. It's like you still have to go back and make season 3 of the show, and now you've got the creator who supposedly hates the show. It's like, will he then step away from it, or is he just going to stay in the mix and say, everything you don't like is somebody else's fault. Everything you do like, that's me.
Yeah, right. That's it. It feels a little bit. He's not much of a team player, and if you can't handle any changes whatsoever, don't option your stuff out.
Right. That's it. It's okay to not be a team player. That's totally fine. If you're not a team player, don't join a team. And honestly, that's it. And when you're, how old is George R.R. Martin? Is he in his 60s?
Ooh, let me look that up.
At some point, if you're a team player or not, and it's okay to not be a team player.
He is 75.
75. So write your books and then put them out there. It's like, and then if somebody options it and buys it, yeah, if you want to criticize it or whatever. But if your name's on the show, you're part of the team making it. It's like, fight those battles in the writer's room.
Speaking of joining teams, while we're talking about media and crossovers and everything, one of our favorite actresses, Bernie, is joining the live action He-Man movie. It's Alison Brie. Many will know her from Community, but she is one of our favorite actresses from Glow, specifically.
Yes.
Most amazing show ever. And she's
that's a lot, but okay. Yeah.
okay.
It's a good show.
A fantastic show. Anyway, and she's been cast in the key villain role of Evil Lynn in this He-Man movie.
Okay, you're the He-Man fan here. Who is Evil Lynn?
Okay, look, I was like a 4-year-old shipper, all right? Give me a break. I know who Skeletor is. I couldn't tell you who Evil Lynn is, but apparently she's a villain.
Can I just say to all the parents out there in the world, if you name your child Evil anything, you're really limiting their options in life, I think.
You know that she was 16, she finally got that driver's license.
Evil Lynn.
She went to applying to all the fast food restaurants, and they look at her resume and they go, Evil Lynn, she sounds like trouble.
Yeah, we need your evil birth certificate and your evil cable bill.
Ultimately, crime was her only option.
I mean, just give your kid a face tattoo when they're 5 years old. That's about the same effect. So, Evil Lynn, can I assume that she's a villain? Am I going to guess?
So it seems like, maybe for all we know, she's going to have a wild redemption arc and become Lynn.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to this. Although I would like to see like Alison Brie as Skeletor would be pretty cool too.
Look,
Gender bent Skeletor.
If she can commit to it, I'd be on board. I'm on board with her in just about anything at this point.
So He-Man and Alison Brie. Do we know who's playing She-Ra yet? Have they said that by any chance? Do you remember?
You mean his wife / twin?
No, how dare you?
No, they have not.
All right.
They may just leave her in animated Netflix territory. I'm not sure.
Well, I look forward to George R. R. Martin's blog post about this that he'll delete very quickly.
About all the changes they've made from the source.
Guys, I'm dropping a new one soon. I got things to say about Skeletor and Beastman. Got new things to say.
All right, well, on that note, I would like to thank our sponsors for today, Jocelyn McCall and Kyle. Thank you both for sponsoring this episode of our show at patreon.com/morningsomewhere.
All right, well, that does it for us today, September 5th, 2024. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you will be here as well.
Bye, everybody.